morning, Portsmouth.
Good morning.
I'm Councilman Mark Hugel, and it's my pleasure to be your Master of Ceremonies for today's Veterans Day celebration. Let me start by recognizing some folks in the crowd. First off, our keynote speaker today, Rear Admiral Jay Vann. I'll introduce him in just a little bit. Admiral Vann, welcome on board. And CEO of our Coast Guard base Portsmouth, Captain Derek Burris. Captain Burris, welcome. My colleagues on City Council, first off, Mayor Shannon Glover and Councilman Vernon Tillage, and our City Manager, Stephen Carter. So a little bit about Veterans Day. So Veterans Day is not Armed Forces Day and it's not Memorial Day. Veterans Day started out as Armistice Day back in 1919. So the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month in 1918 was the end, the armistice for the First World War, the war to end all wars. Eventually in 1938, Armistice Day became a federal holiday. And finally in 1954, by act of Congress, it became Veterans Day, a recognition of those who served and many of whom came home. You know, in 1980, about 18% of adults in the United States were veterans. Today, that's about 6% of American adults who are veterans. Of the veterans that we still have living, about 4% of our veterans are pre-Vietnam War era. 30% of our vets are Vietnam vets. 22% served during the Cold War. And almost half, 43%, have served in our longest wars, the wars in Iraq, Afghanistan, and the war against terror that continues even today. It's important when we come to celebrate Veterans Day that we remember that not all veterans are healthy. A lot of our veterans were actually saved as a result of the improvements in combat medicine. So veterans who would have passed away on the battlefield in wars prior to Iraq and Afghanistan were saved by modern medicine, but now are counted among those who have disabilities. And so we honor the sacrifice that they made, the physical sacrifice that they made. But the truth is, there are a lot of veterans today who have emotional scars, things that they saw that cannot be unseen. And those veterans still need our help. Our statistics today, 17 veterans a day in the United States die by their own hand. And so the mental health challenges that confront our veteran population are enormous. And it goes without saying that the mental health capacity to help our veterans and others with mental health issues are not keeping up with the demand signal. So as we celebrate our Veterans Day today, please also remember those veterans who came home with wounds that are still in the process of healing. So as we move into our ceremony, we will present the colors by the Portsmouth Police Department Color Guard. If you would please stand and parade the colors.
Color Guard, 1, 2, 2, 4, march. March time. March. And halt. Left face. Breathe in. Colors.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our national anthem will be played by the Tidewater Concert Band. retire the colors.
Right, face. Forward, march.
Please be seated. So it's my privilege to introduce our mayor, Mayor Shannon Glover, a native of Erie, PA. Like so many of us, finished high school and figured out that home was not where he was going to spend the rest of his working career. And so Mayor Glover headed off to Navy boot camp, eventually became a Navy hospital corpsman and finished his service right here at Navy Medical Center, Portsmouth. Mayor Glover has been our mayor for the past 4 years, and we look forward to another 4. Mayor Glover, over to you, sir.
Thank you, Councilman. In any event, I want to acknowledge, before I make my remarks, one of our newly elected members to our City Council, Councilwoman-elect Catherine Kitty Bryant. And I want to thank each and every one of you for being here today. Good morning, honored guests, veterans, families, and fellow citizens of Portsmouth. Today, as we gather here in the heart of our city, we pause to honor and reflect upon the sacrifices made by the men and women who have served in the armed forces of our great nation. Make no mistake, Veterans Day is more than just a date on the calendar. It is a solemn reminder of dedication, courage, and the resilience demonstrated by those who have worn the uniform. As a Navy veteran myself, I feel honored to see Portsmouth as a proud example of a community deeply connected to its military veterans and values. From the sailors who pass through the Norfolk Naval Shipyard to the Coast Guard members who safeguard our waters. Our streets echo with the footsteps of those who have answered the call of our great nation. These brave individuals are not just service members, they're our neighbors, our friends, co-workers, our family members. In fact, I would go as far to say that our military veterans are the lifeblood of our community. On this day, we take time to recognize those freedoms and opportunities we cherish that are protected by the countless sacrifices made by these military veterans. And we remember the battles fought and the silent struggles faced long after the battlefield is left behind. And today we acknowledge our veterans' unwavering commitment to something greater than themselves. It is this profound patriotism that shapes the very fabric of our nation. But our duty doesn't just end with recognition. Today is a call to action, a reminder to support our veterans beyond the moment of the ceremony. Let us continue to invest in programs and resources that assist our veterans transition back to civilian life, as was indicated by Councilman Hugel. Let us continue to offer opportunities for their personal growth, and let us all work together to provide those support systems needed for our veterans and their families to thrive. Let us also work to ensure that no veteran ever feels forgotten or overlooked. Taking time each and every day to come together as a community for this observance speaks volumes about who we are as a people in our city. It demonstrates our commitment to remembering that freedom is not free and that it comes at a cost borne by those willing to defend it. To all veterans here today and across our great city, we see you, we honor you, and we thank you from the depths of our hearts for your sacrifices and commitment to our great nation. As we stand together on this Veterans Day, let us not pledge only to remember today, but to embody the gratitude in our actions throughout the year. May we strive to build Portsmouth where every veteran feels valued, respected, and supported, a Portsmouth worthy of their service. On behalf of the City Council and the citizens of our great city, thank you all for being here today to share in this important tribute. May we always hold our veterans in the highest esteem and regard. God bless our veterans, God bless Portsmouth, and may God continue to bless the United States of America. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Glover. Now it's my privilege to introduce our keynote speaker today, Rear Admiral John J. Vann, who is commander of the United States Coast Guard 5th District. The 5th Coast Guard District ensures the safety and security of our oceans, coastal areas, and maritime transportation system within the Mid-Atlantic region. Prior to coming back to Portsmouth as our 5th District commander, Admiral Vann was running the Coast Guard Cyber Command in Washington, D.C. He's had several other shore commands, but he's no stranger to Hampton Roads. He was commanding officer of the Coast Guard's largest training facility up in Yorktown, and additionally, he had command of the cutters Harriet Lane and Assateague. He's a 1992 Coast Guard Academy graduate, has a master's in instructional systems from Florida State, a master's in strategic studies from the Air Force's Air War College, and is a Harvard University Graduate School of Education Institute for Educational Management graduate. Admiral Vann and his wife Darlene are the proud parents of Lieutenant Haley Murray, Medical Corps, United States Navy, and Madison Vann. Would you please join me in welcoming Rear Admiral J. Vann?
Good morning, everyone. Morning. Thank you, gentlemen. I learned my lesson of clipping the papers down here in the notebook. Thank you, Mayor and Councilman and all the members of the Portsmouth City Council. To the Honor Guard, thank you, folks, and thanks to the Tidewater Concert Band. Good to see some veterans in the band. Yeah. Thanks for being here today. So today is a day set aside to honor all who have served in our armed forces to protect our American freedoms. I'd like to start just by asking all the veterans here today who are able to stand up and allow us to show our appreciation to you. You were right, Mayor. Bunch of folks here making up the lifeblood of the city, for sure. So, Councilman Hugel gave you a little bit of the history. I think somehow our speeches had a little bit of the same material in them, but I'm going to hit a couple more points here. So, as the councilman said, this day was formerly known as Armistice Day and was originally set as the holiday to honor the end of World War I. So at the urging of veteran service organizations at the time, an earlier act was amended to strike the word armistice and add the word veterans to mark the 11th day of November. There was a short stint in our history when Veterans Day was moved to October, but folks didn't like that idea. They liked the 11-11-11. Yes. And so it was President Ford in 1975 who brought us back, beginning in 78, to a Veterans Day that was always celebrated on November 11th. So we don't need to try to remember what Thursday or what day or what month. It's 11-11-11, right? We got it. It's easy now. So today we remember all men and women who serve and have served in defense of our great country. We celebrate their immeasurable contributions, draw inspiration from their example, and renew our commitment to showing them the fullest support of a grateful nation. We rededicate ourselves to supporting those who have worn America's uniform and the families who stand alongside them. I would like to thank Mayor Glover and the City of Portsmouth for its unwavering support of our armed forces and veterans. Now, I'm a bit biased. The City of Portsmouth is designated a Coast Guard city and is home to one of the largest Coast Guard concentration areas in the country. The Coast Guard is thankful for all you do for our members and families. We love it here. In fact, as was mentioned, I've been here before. This is my 6th assignment in Portsmouth. I think I'm a local. So we also know that Portsmouth is a Navy town. and we appreciate the great relationship Portsmouth has with the shipyard and the Naval Medical Center. Coast Guard sentinels, Navy sailors, soldiers, airmen, Marines, and even Space Force guardians now make Portsmouth our home. We all appreciate the hospitality of this great city. And on this Veterans Day, I join the mayor, the council members, along with fellow local military and city leaders to honor and thank all who serve and have served. Your sacrifices and the sacrifices of your families have won and protected the freedoms we hold dear. I ask that each of you here today seek out a veteran or a service member. Thank them. Thank them for raising their right hand and taking the oath. Thank them for their dedication and sacrifices. Thank them for ensuring we live in the freest nation on earth. I also ask that you encourage the next generation of service members. No pressure. It was veterans in my family and my community who encouraged me to consider serving. My grandfathers served in World War II, one a submariner and one an Army tanker. Two uncles served in the Army, and my father in the Coast Guard during the Vietnam era. These men were my heroes. Finally, I ask that each of you come back here next year or attend a Veterans Day event wherever you are. We owe all who have served our gratitude. I'm proud to say, as you heard, one of my daughters is in the U.S. Navy and one is a Coast Guard spouse. While just over, as you heard, 6% of Americans are veterans, now less than 1% serve in uniform. Please take a moment today and any day to encourage young citizens to serve like the heroes we honor on Veterans Day. Don't forget, we're all recruiters. Thank you again, everyone. Thank you for coming today. Thanks to the city of Portsmouth for annually remembering our veterans and being a great place to live and work every day. And thanks to all the veterans here today. I salute you.
Thank you for those remarks, Admiral Van. You know, the city does enjoy a very close relationship with the United States Coast Guard, and we're pleased that Admiral Van, who could have done 1,000 other things today, including take a day off, came and spent his time celebrating with us. So thank you again for making time to join us. So now we'll be entertained by the Tidewater Concert Band with their military medley. So as your military service tune is played, I invite you to stand and celebrate your connection. Well done, Tidewater Concert Band. Thank you again for joining us this morning and providing that musical entertainment. So, you know, it's always interesting to sit up here in the front because I get to look over the crowd. So when the sorry, Colonel Lenny, I can't help myself. When the Army anthem started playing, you know, the Army guys are kind of looking around. Is it okay if we stand up amongst all these Navy guys? So Colonel Lindley has been the chair of the Portsmouth Mayor's Military Affairs Committee for many years, and recently decided it's time to relinquish command of the Military Affairs Committee. And so Commander Jim Cullen, who recently retired from the Coast Guard, has decided to step in behind Colonel Lindley. But I want to take the opportunity, while we have a group of veteran celebrators assembled, to recognize Irv's service to our community for many years on the Military Affairs Committee. He's been surrounded by Navy, mostly Navy and Coast Guard folks in those meetings, and still he perseveres as best he can as an Army vet. So, Irv, thanks again for your service. Some other folks that we need to thank today. These things just don't happen. And so to the city manager and his team, Peter Glagola and the marketing team, our AV folks who I see all over the city. They don't ever seem to get a Saturday or a Sunday off. They're always working. So thanks to you guys, as always, for broadcasting what we're doing here. Thanks also to the Parks and Recs folks who also seem to work every Saturday and Sunday in Portsmouth, setting up chairs, taking down chairs. They were responsible for the infrastructure here today. So well done to Mark Pomachak and his team. And way back there in the back is Chief Jenkins, who must have something going on because he's been on the phone pretty much all the way through today. I think it was a little bit of excitement in the downtown last night. Anyway, Chief Jenkins, to you and your color guard, thanks for all you do for Portsmouth. And so I'll send you all off with kind of piling on to what Admiral Vann had to say. If you see a veteran today, thank them for all that they have done to preserve and protect our way of life and our freedom. Thanks so much for attending today, and we'll see you around town.